Hello, hello. Was it? All right. Can you hear me like this? All right. Yes, everyone. Nice. All right. That's nice. Okay. I can hear myself as well a lot, and that's a bit weird. Never mind. Sorry for the bit of the delay. This means we're starting, I guess. Yeah. Thank you all for coming today. Really do appreciate it. I hope that you already took some swag at the front here. Um, I'm just gonna ask, is everything ready on this side? Can I start with everything or? Yes. All right. Nice. Low? Yes. All right. Nice. Okay. Hi again. Ni hao. That's all I can say in Chinese. I'm really sorry. Rest of the lecture is gonna be in Chinese, not Chinese, in English. Um, yeah, my name is Jan Klepperleek. I'm software engineer at JetBrains. I'm here with my colleagues. I'm gonna have two lectures today. First one is gonna be about some tips and tricks for our IDEs. I'm gonna showcase them in PyCharm, um, but big majority you can use actually all of them. All the tips that I'm gonna show you, you can use in all of our IDEs because all of them are built on platform IntelliJ platform. So this smartness, these tips that I'm gonna show you, you can use anywhere. Um, First things first, I want to get to know you a little bit better to get a feel to who I'm talking to. So, are there any first year students? If so, raise your hands. Okay. Second year students? All right. Third year students? And fourth year and above? All right. Okay. Okay. Nice. All right. Thank you. And then, so the code I'm going to be showcasing is going to be in Python. Who is familiar with Python? Please raise your hand. Not a lot of people. Okay, okay. Maybe I should have chosen a different language then. What about Java? What about C++? What about C? Okay. So mostly low level people here. All right. Okay. Okay. Oh, what about C sharp? All right. Yeah. Okay. So what I hope that you'll get from this lecture is, so I'm gonna be showing a lot of code. The code is not important. I'm gonna be showcasing one project. It's just audio visualization. But as I said, the code is not important. What you should take away from this is the tips that the code is there just, I have some use cases to show you the tips. So if you don't understand the code, what it's doing exactly, you don't need to, it's not important. What you should take away from this are the tips. Also, I'll be explaining them. And then Wout, after me, my colleague over there, he is going to have a lecture about why do developers love Kotlin? Exclamation mark, not a question mark. And he's going to be using most of these features with a breeze, and he's not going to be explaining them. So just to give you an idea also what he's doing, if like, because he's going to be moving his cursor a lot, very fast, so it's sometimes easy to just get lost. But hopefully with my instructions today, it's going to be easier for you. And also, if I do something that you did not catch or you don't follow, please ask. If I don't notice you, just start talking, start asking the question, and I'll stop and I'll try to answer you. Are there any questions so far? No. All right, good. Let's start then. I'm gonna sit down for it. Yeah, okay. So, first things first, I'm gonna run this program. It's a simple audio visualization, nothing too complex. There's a couple of modes. Yeah, but nothing too crazy. All right, let's get back to the code. Of course, some errors. Um, let's start with with IDE setup. This is probably not too great for you to see. So first things first, let's oh, actually, first thing you should definitely, if you don't learn anything new here, please just remember in all of our IDs, double shift is your lifesaver. It's gonna pop up a search everywhere window, which means that you can search for literally anything, literally anywhere. Uh, all right, a bit of music. Um, gonna wait a little. Is this gonna be common? No? Ah, okay, so it's like, oh, all right, okay, yeah, all right, no worries. All right, so double shift, search everywhere in settings, in text, actions of the IDE, classes, symbols, everywhere. What I want to do now is zoom out. No, actually, I want to zoom in. Um, uh, let's use the shortcut for it. Is this big enough? Can you read it in the back? Another thing, I'm gonna use the light theme. Is this better? Can you read it in the back, or should I make it a bit bigger? Yeah? Are you? Is this better? Can you read it now? All right. Okay. Another thing that I should have started with, presentation assistant. So that's this little window right here. And now, if I do any shortcut, it's gonna pop up there, and it's gonna show you, okay, how can you use it in macOS or on Windows or Linux. There is also presentation mode, which I could use, but it's just gonna make everything bigger, but I already made that. And also it's gonna get rid of the sidebars. But I'm gonna be using them, so I'm gonna exit the presentation mode. Okay, a couple more things that might be useful for you. It depends on what language you're using and what kind of syntax. So for Python, very common is to use this what is it, snake case. But I'm just so used to jump over words. But in case of these, I assume that this is one word and this is one word, and I would want my caret to jump according to these words. So I'm just gonna set it up. There is an option to use camel hump words, and what that's gonna do now, if I jump over a word, it's gonna jump over like it's gonna honor the underscores. The mode is called camel humps, which is capitalization naming. It's gonna honor these as well. Um, but now there's one issue. If I double click it, it's gonna select the whole word again, and I would like it to select just the part of the word that's capitalized. Same for the underscores. So we can set that up as well, and that is honor camel humps. So let's turn that on as well. And now if I double click it, it's gonna be honoring that as well. This is just some tiny little productivity tip. If you're used to it, then it's gonna feel very natural. All right. Now I have this. There's a bunch of code, but it has got 580 lines of code. It's not great. I'm gonna switch to this branch. In this window, by the way, you can see all the commits. This branch has a bit fewer of them, and when I run it, let's run it. There is one mode less. There's these bars, there's this real time, but there's no wait. Um, just a side note. But anyways, what I want to do on this branch is refactor it. And again, it's not important what does the code do that I'm gonna refactor. Important is how I'm gonna refactor and what you should take from it. So let's take a look. One thing that we could change here is, for example, this data class visualizer config. It's literally just a data class. It doesn't need to be in the same class as the audio visualizer. So let's just select it and move it to a different file. Now, how could we do this manually? We just copy it, create a file, paste it in there, and then resolve dependencies. Well, we can do F6, and that's gonna, why did it not show? Okay, now it shows. F6. I can select whatever I want to move. Let's call the new file. Sorry, I cannot type and talk at the same time. Let's call it visualizer config. Sure, let's refactor that. Immediately, one good thing, it asks me whether I want to get the new file to the Git. Yes, I do. All right, and that's done. So the class is gone. Important thing, what is this? Import is already here. And another really nice thing, if I go to the new file, is that in here, all the imports in here are as well. So the IDE takes care of everything for me, and that's kind of nice. All right, let's go back here. Let's do some more refactoring. What else can we do here? There, I see some utility part. Utility functions. Okay, well, they probably don't need to be in the audio visualizer either. I want to create a utility file and put them all in there. Also, I can see like, okay, this is a static method. Well, let's get rid of it. Again, let's select it like this. Let's try move, and okay, it does not work. And why it doesn't work is that it is inside of a class. So the IDE right now, it doesn't know whether probably that is the reason the programmer put it into the class. And if we just made it possible to move, it might break a lot of things, such as references in here. All right, let's take a step back and let's get rid of the static method first. For that, we also have a intention. Convert static method into a function. This I invoke with option, and yeah, option. Oh, okay, it shows Alt Enter or Option Enter. Converts into a function. Sure, let's do that. Right away, I see that there's another one. Let's do it for this one as well. So it is out of the audio visualizer class. Let's close this, and it has moved them into the same file, but outside of the class. And now let's use F6. Okay, now it works. Let's put it into utils file. Sure, refactor. Yes, again, edit there, and let's move this one as well. I could have just selected it here before, do it in one step, but sure, we'll handle that. And again, it was edited here in the imports. And another thing that is kind of oh right, it's in the utils. Another really nice thing is that okay, it knew that in here somewhere we're using NumPy, and it knew that we in here we defined it as an NP. We aliased it as NP. So in here it's just gonna use the same stuff. Pretty nice. Okay. Now there's this underscore which is used for private methods in Python. Let's not this. Let's rename it. Let's get rid of the underscore, and again, probably very basic, but it's gonna rename it everywhere where it's used. Same for this one. All right. Okay. So now we've done a bit of refactoring. Now I want to commit it. So I'm gonna open this commit. What is it? Yeah, commit window. And now I realize that okay, I actually made two changes that are logically a bit different. I created utils file, and I moved this visualizer config into its separate file. I would want to commit it in two separate commits. There's a bunch of ways to do this. First, I could have realized before that, okay, I did one change. I moved the visualizer config into one file. Then I could just create a new change list. Now I'm gonna call it utils. What that's gonna do, it's gonna create a new change list in this commit window. Now if I set this as active change list, all the changes I'm gonna do since now on. Right? Oh, wait, what? Okay, let's make some more drastic changes. Okay. are gonna appear in, oh yeah, okay, are gonna appear in the new change list. And they can be in the same file. Why this one did not propagate is because we've created it, this whole file was created in this other change list. So now the ID doesn't know, okay, like, is this change supposed to be in this change list or the other one? It doesn't know. Let's get rid of these changes. Let's roll back them. Let's set this one as active again. Yeah, sure. Remove the unused change list. Okay, but for this, I would have to remember that at first, and I could have just committed it. But I didn't, and now I have these combined changes. Well, what can I do with it? First, let's select the visualizer config. Yeah, that's something we've created. I want to commit that. Sure. But in here we have multiple changes. I know that this one, I can just select the changes that are relevant for the commits that I'm doing. So I know that this data class was relevant for the class. So let's select it. Then all of this, we've removed that. That's correct. In here, that's moving of the static methods. I can actually see that it knew that now it's not a method of the class. It's just a function, so it removed the self-reference, and this also related to the secondary factoring. But I cannot forget about this one. And what can I do here? Because now here the ID says, okay, this must have been one change, right? Because like it's very close together, but we know that it's not. There's just one checkbox. Well, I want to include just this line. Well, I can just create it. So I'm gonna check this to have there the space, and that's about all changes I want to commit. So let's yeah, that's it. I'd select all my changes and let's call it move. Yeah, a bit of silence. I'm typing, and let's commit it. And now we can commit the rest. Let's review it. So these, yes, these changes as well, sure. Yeah, let's select everything. All right, and this is get those files. All right, okay, so that will be it. I'm gonna just check. Any questions so far? No, not yet. All right, good. Let's move on a little bit. Let's stay at the refactoring for a little longer. There is one more thing that I would like to do, and that is oh no. Oh, okay, I closed it. Okay, let's open it. And that is that in this utility section, there's one more function that I would like to get rid of. It's not static. There's the self-reference, which means, okay, I'm referring to something from the class. But if I take a look, it's just this config, and I assign it to a variable, and then this one I use. Again, I should think twice about this. Most likely, there's a reason it's written like this. But for now, I can tell you that there's really no reason for that. It's going to work if I just get rid of it and put it into an argument. So let's refactor it. Yeah, we can double. No, actually, let's not skip there. Let's refactor it, and first we have to get rid of this. I want to put it into a parameter. What I could do is do config here, and that would be it. Sure, this would work, but it's no fun. And I want to show you some features. So let's first click on this, and what I want to do is inline these this value to every call of this variable. So there's a if I right click it, then refactor, there's this inline. Shortcut is like this. I can inline it right away. It asks me, okay, do you want to inline just some of them or all 5 occurrences? Yeah, sure, all of them. All right. Nope. And now I've got this. but now again, still there's this self reference. I want to move it into the parameter, and there's a refactoring for it as well. Actually, there's introduce parameter, field, variable, extract into method. I'm gonna show that later. I'm just gonna extract it into parameter, introduce parameter. I use the shortcut. What I want to extract is just this configuration, and I want to replace all 5 references. I want to have it named as CFG. Sure, that works for me. I have to do a bit of changes here. So the default assignment, I don't want it here. I don't want it there. Now, is this gonna work? I don't know. That's not what I wanted. No, where did it go? Okay, no, I don't want it. Yes. All right, let's get rid of this, and now let's move it. I want to move it into the utils again. Refactor. Where is self again? All right. Okay. I need to make it a function first. Oh, okay. Let's use this workaround. Sure, that works. And now I can move it again. And I want it in the utils file. All right. So it's here. Everything worked. Let's check the usages, and that is here. And because I added the parameter when I extracted it, it was with a default value. That's why it was not added here. So I just gotta edit display self.csg, and that should be it. Right, and let's rename it as well. Prepare FFPN parameter. Sure. Now everything's up to date, and if I run the program, is it gonna work? It is. Okay. Now this was a lot of steps. I'll admit, not very convenient. I'm gonna undo everything. Yes, yes. Oh, wait. Okay, I cannot undo it too much. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Let's get rid of all these changes, because I want to show you one more cool thing, which is if I go back to the file utility here, and I just do F6, I tell it, okay, move it into the utils. It's gonna do everything for me. And now if I take a look at the utils, the first parameter is here. It knew that, okay, yeah, well, actually it did everything. Okay, it did not, didn't manage to do this, most likely because there were more options. But it just, it added the parameter. In this case, I can actually just delete this. And if I take a look at the usage, it is there as well, and it is correctly. So all of these steps, the ID can do for us. Is it gonna still work? It is. Okay. All right. What's the time? All right. Well, is there anything else? Oh yeah. Okay. And one last thing, because Wout is gonna use that, so I want to showcase it, which is extract into a method. And again, the same smartness. In this part of the code, what I'm doing is I am just getting a sample rate, so I can extract it into a method. I'm gonna call it get sample rate, and already it knows I did not select this device on purpose. It knows that there is some argument gonna be needed that I need to give to the function. Gives me a preview. Sure, everything works. Gave me the device, created the function. All is fine and clear. Okay, let's commit this. Yeah, very useful. All right, let's move on a little bit into debugging, some debugging tips. for this, any questions so far? No? Anything else you came up with and want to know whether the ID can do it? No, not yet? All right, nice. Yes.
Feature to like automatically generate Python typing.
Python type.
Yes, because the LSP seems to know some of the parameters type, but when refactoring, the generated parameter does not have a typing. We have a feature to like automatically generate it.
Oh, okay, this is a AI feature.
Oh.
I'm not sure. Val, you were sorry. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Val, do you know more? Oh. Sorry, what?
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Okay, so this just add the inferred type to the typing. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's useful enough. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Sorry, I don't know the a better answer. Yeah. At least partially. Or there. Yeah. Like how I would go around if I have an idea, and you can do that as well, of course. If I have an idea about, okay, this is something that can be deterministic, that probably could be tooled around. You can just do double shift, type. It's like when you would search something on the internet. Type in some keywords that you might think the developers that developed this tool feature would call it. And yeah, well, there is at type hints, but that was using AI assistant, about which I'm gonna talk a bit later. Yeah, but that's AI. It's not static. All right. Any more questions? Thank you for the questions, by the way. I really appreciate it. No, not yet. Okay. So I already switched into a different branch, Wave mode. What this does is it added a new mode. Probably you remember it, but when I run it, nothing works. So it probably doesn't get an input from. So yeah, this is the new mode, but it doesn't add any input from the get any input from the microphone. And when I just press Q, which is how I close the application. When I press Q, it gets frozen. So let's investigate that. So the following tips are going to be a bit more about debugging. So let's debug it. Application runs. I pressed Q. Let's solve this issue first. It is still running, and well, I haven't put up any breakpoints yet because well, I have to be honest, I have no idea where to start. I don't know the code. It was written from someone else. But what I assume is what's going on somewhere. There's probably like a loop or a very long computation. Okay, but where? There's this tiny feature pause program. What it's gonna do is just gonna pause the execution right where it is, and this is for Python. It works for other languages as well, of course. And it's gonna stop where it is. So there, it's in the stop function of this audio visualizer. So some that seems correct. What's going on here? So we just publish some stop event or set some stop event, and then there's cleanup of this thing. So far, so good. Let's see where it was called. So in this thread and variables, first of all, so the use case I'm showing it on is very simple. So don't be discouraged. But here there's a stack thread, no, call stack. I can navigate through that, and so okay, where it was called from, and it was called from a main function, and there's this endless loop, and someone added keep stopping until stop. Okay, that's weird. Okay, I want to see who did that. Right click. Let's see Git. Git options, and let's do annotate with Git plain. When you're debugging and working on some project, working with other people, surprisingly, Git is a very good debugging feature. More often than not, you can find who did what, and you can get more of an idea. Okay, so someone edited this, but why? There is a comment. Okay, but it keeps stopping until stop. Sure, doesn't make any sense. Let's take a look. So if I click on here, it's going to show that, oh, it was me who did this 2 days ago. And the only change I did was in this audio visualizer file, and the only change I did was this. Okay, what's in the comment message? Well, again, not too helpful. Let's just get rid of it. Let's delete it. Let's restart it. And okay, there's still no sound, but when I press Q, now everything works. Okay, well, that's nice. We've got one issue solved. By the way, in here, there's so many more options. For example, when you have stack trace, you can, when you have stack trace from some pipeline CI/CD, you can just copy it, have it in the clipboard, then do this. Automatically, it's gonna put in whatever you have in the clipboard. And if it's a stack trace, it's gonna visualize it here as well. It's gonna parse everything, and you're gonna be able to see individual threads with their stack traces. The stack trace where you're gonna be able to jump around. If you're in the repository as well, it's gonna take you to the code. So it's very, very powerful, very neat. But let's get back to our use case. So we've solved one issue. I saw from the Git that, okay, there was some complete garbage in the Git window. Let's focus on just on our branch and see what else is there. So this is the commit that introduced first problem. Let's take a look at other ones, because this is around the same time 2 days ago. Maybe I was just hallucinating and doing something wrong. Let's take a look. What did I do here? Maybe this is gonna solve our other issues. Well, so there I removed mode for some reason. Then I introduced couple of new functions. Then these ones, it's a bit hard to see, but these ones, the spectrogram, I introduced a lot of new parameters. Here I can see that I actually removed some indentation, which means that I moved it away from where it's nested, which is the start function. So I was trying to do some like smart refactoring, but it turned out to break everything. Yeah, here I do some more modifications. Here I remove something. Okay. Again, doesn't seem too nice. Let's get rid of it and see whether that's gonna help us. How can I get rid of it? I did some mistake. I want to fix it. Well, I can just take a look here, copy this state, insert it, and commit it. That should work. But that's not very, like, if it's going to be in multiple files, that's not how we do stuff, right? So let's right click the commit, and there's this feature, revert commit. What that's going to do, let's click it. Oh, okay. Revert failed because I have uncommitted changes. Your local changes will be overwritten. Sure. I want to keep this, so let's commit it. Fix endless loop. Sure. Commit it. That's there. I wanted to revert this one. Let's revert it, and that's done. The only thing it's gonna do is that it's gonna take the changes and put it into, like, do opposite of whatever was in that commit. Need to say, like, this might get you some merge requests. If it's really old, the changes were at some places they were then overwritten. But in general, it works pretty nice. Let's take a look at the other options that are there. Undo commit. What that's gonna do, that's gonna take the changes. I probably can do it on this one. Yeah, on the last one. That's gonna take the changes, revert them, and put them as if you've just implemented them. So then you can modify them. Basically, it's like a soft reset. And then you can drop commits. That just means that this commit is going to get deleted. We could have used that now as well, actually. But then this might mess up with your, if you push it somewhere to a repository, it's not really friendly towards that. All right, and some more nifty features. I might show some a bit later. All right, what else is there? Okay, let's actually see whether it fixed something for us. Oh, and it did. Okay, so that commit was rubbish as well. One last thing that is bothering me here is that this thing starts at the top, and that I don't want to do. So let's do a bit more debugging. And okay, again, not too familiar with the code, but I can make some assumptions. For example, nope. That in this update function, that's probably where everything is gonna be updating, and that's where I want to start investigating. The question? No. Okay. No, wait, wait. Any questions? No. Okay. That's what I want to start debugging. Let's try the debug. And okay, it stopped there, but this is not what I want to be. Now it's paused and nothing's loaded. It starts at the bar visualization mode, which is not the one that I want to debug. So let's do it a bit smarter. Let's stop the debug. Here I just put a breakpoint, but if I right click it, it's gonna give me a bit more options, and there's actually a lot more. I can use this conditional one. What I actually now I cannot see the code. So let's just leave it like this. What this is gonna do, like this, if I put any condition here, I can actually use anything from the code as well. So there is something like mode, and I want to stop when the mode is vague. So now this breakpoint is gonna trigger only when the mode is vague. Let's try if I set it up correctly. Yes. Now everything works. It's a bit more laggy because I'm debugging, and why did it not stop? Is it not wait? Did I do? Oh, right, of course. This is a list. Let's do it like this. Continue. Yeah. Okay. Now it's stopped there. Actually, let's restart it. Go to full effect. Okay. Change the mode. And now it's stopped. Okay. So now we're where we need to be, and now we can debug a bit more. So we see that here in this way, if we do something, here we take data from microphone, check exceptions, sure, initialize the buffer, put it into a buff, which we then use. So let's step here, and let's take a look. Already here, I can see that all of these are ones. So that means that's probably what I don't want. There is one more feature, which is quick quick evaluate expression. If I click on almost anything, it can be even like more complex expression. It's gonna evaluate it and give me the result. Wout is gonna be using this as well, and this is very powerful and very nice. There is also evaluate expression window. Okay, I just put whatever I had selected. Evaluate expression window, and in here I can also write almost anything I want. So let's say right now I want to know whether this wave buffer, or actually this buffer, is full of ones. So how can I do that? I first need to filter the list. So I'm gonna filter just once in this buffer list. This is just a Python syntax for a lambda that what it does, it takes only elements that are equal to 1. Let's evaluate it. Yeah, okay. It gave me some filter object, not really what I need. let's do a list out of it. Okay, I see that there's a lot of ones, but I want to know how many of them. So let's take the length of this list, and I see that it's a lot. So this is just the sampling frequency times amount of seconds. Yes, question. If there is a mode, not debug mode, but some other mode that will where we can like write Python code and evaluate it, or that only outputs what? Outputs only variables that we need. Okay, I'm not sure if I understand the question, but is it let's get rid of this. Is what you're asking something like this, like to see the variables that are currently active, or is this it? Uh-huh. Hmm. Okay, I see. I see. Okay. So I don't think there is gonna be any more lightweight mode because for the execution you still need to know the values of all the variables. But what you can do here, you can is there a filter? I'm not sure to be honest. Like in here, you can also put any expression that's currently makes sense. You can make a watch list for it, and it's just gonna be there. And it's if you add it as a watch, it means that whenever you run, you show this debug window, it's gonna be there. But I'm not sure if you can filter them or like make it somehow not as cluttered. That's a fair question. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. Like either way, you're gonna be needing all of them because whenever you stop at some execution point, I mean, you have the values of all the variables for free, so you can have them. But if you can whether you can filter them in here, I'm not sure. At least I don't know about uh, anything that would make that. Probably the answer is no. What, you mean how many of them you can have here? Oh, so sorry. Are you asking about the code then, or about the feature of the IDE? Because like the length of this buffer is set in the code there somewhere. Probably not what you're asking, is it? Sorry. Okay. Try to ask once more. Okay. Yes. Ah, okay. Okay. Um, I see. So your concern is that in here, this is not endless. Oh, that it just yeah, even here, that sometimes it just at some point it stops and doesn't show the rest. Is that your concern? That's what you're asking about? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. That's a good question. Okay, now I understand. So if you click on it, you do view. Here you can see all of them. But by default it truncates it because it would be just too much text. So there is some limit, and I think the limit is actually 100. That's what you can do for list in Python. If it's an ND array, which is from the NumPy, like just an array from the NumPy, which is a bit more optimized and well, it's just different from the list. There is integration for it in the IDE as well, and you can visualize the data in ways that it makes sense. So you can visualize the data like so, and there's probably only 100 of them. So let's see some other ones. What is this? Yeah, this is also an ND array. Let's visualize it. And there is also 100 of them. Oh yeah. So in here you can modify what you want. You can see some chunk if you want. What's pretty nice, also you can visualize it in a graph. And again, like if it's what? Okay, this means there's not all of them are one. There's probably some gigantic number somewhere, and it messed up the view. Yeah, I'm not sure. What about this one? Well, okay, this is a bit better. Okay, yeah. So I guess this also answers our question. This is the frequencies of the audio that we've just captured, and here it's how it visualizes it. So this is just one-dimensional array. That's why it's on 2-axis. If it's more, it's probably gonna do some matrix or something. Yeah, and this is, but also important to say, this only applies to ND arrays, which are from NumPy. For example, there's another. So what am I using for the visualization here? I am using, I think it's Matplotlib. Yeah, Matplotlib, but it's initialized lazily in the. Okay, not main. Somewhere it is initialized, and also any graph you generate, you can it can be generated like this. And you can see it outside of the IDE, but also we have integration for it, which is gonna be not sure what's the setting. The graph, maybe bigger. Yeah, okay. Okay, now I'm not sure if I'm gonna find it this fast. But I know that there's an integration that is just basically gonna generate the graph, and you'll be able to see it like on the right here. I think that's where it appears by default. But I turned that off because it doesn't support animations, which is what I need for this. So I need to have it outside of the ID. Yeah, okay. Does that answer your question? It does. Okay. All right. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, okay. I see. Sorry, I haven't used Cursor, so I cannot compare that. But okay, I'm gonna take your word for it. um, Maybe if so, I'm not. Python is not also my language of choice. Usually I do Kotlin. Also, I'm not a data scientist, or I don't do anything with AI. Maybe there is a way to visualize it. I just don't know about it. Yeah, we can take a look at it after the lecture and see whether like what you have in mind, whether it can make it or not. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, any more questions? Thank you for the questions, by the way. I see. Oh, I see. I see. So just you say cursor is better. So I'm not sure what's the pricing of cursor. Oh yeah. So you said the pricing of the AI is $20 a month, or? Uh, I see. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna talk about AI a bit later. Maybe I'll convince you otherwise. Um, but okay. Okay. Fair point. Um, anyways, um, we can discuss this maybe after the lecture. I'm actually running a bit over time now. But I'm gonna thank you for the question anyways, for the point. Any more questions? No. Okay. All right. So let's move on and maybe wrap it up quickly because let's see what else I wanted to show you. Um, yeah, I wanted to. All right. So one last thing I wanted to show is I don't have any comments. I'm gonna use my pre-prepared. Oh yeah, okay. Sorry. Two things I'm gonna show. Let's say we've debugged this. The point I was trying to show is that there's options for the breakpoint. Uh, there is evaluate and log, which can replace very notorious uh, debugging method printing. Okay, I'm here. Anyways, let's skip that for now, and I'll just I'll just tell you that um, we haven't found the bug. So I'm gonna go to the developer. I'm gonna ask them, okay, you work on this wave mode branch. There's this bug where it starts at one. Um, can you tell me, like, do you know that there is this bug? Have you worked on it? They are gonna say, yes, I do, and I actually fixed it, and I fixed it in this branch, fix wave mode y-axis fix. So let's take a look at it. What is there? And we see that there's one commit, which is, okay, well, the initialization was too strong. So let's take it, okay, but now I want to have it in my branch. Well, what can I do? I can just select the commit and cherry pick it into my branch. What this is gonna do is just gonna take the commit, put it on top of my branch, and that's it. And this you can do with any like however many amount of changes you want. Uh, Again, it might introduce, of course, some merge conflicts, but these you can also um, solve visually. For me, that's the best case because I admire people who can use Git from the command line. Me personally, I cannot do that. For example, for a rebase, I never tried rebase for a command line. I'm too scared of it. I'm too scared that I'm gonna mess something up. We have really nice feature, one of which is, for example, here, interactive rebase, where you can reorder, you can squash, you can do fix-ups, you can rename, and then only then you can push. Visual resolving of merge conflicts as well, very powerful feature. But yeah, we ran out of the time a little bit. I'm extending actually. So, are there any questions? No? All right. If you have a question later, please come talk to us. If you want to see the visual debug, visual merge conflicts, or some other tips, please come and talk to me. All right, and that's gonna be it. Thank you. Okay, so I think we can do a bit brief break. Let's say 5 minutes, I guess. and then About is gonna continue with Kotlin.
那个我们想征求一下同学的意见，就是这样子纯英文的讲课，大家会不会需要一些辅助？就比如说我们会把那个字幕打在屏幕上，这样大家会比较需要这种吗？那我们下一场的话会应用一个那个 AI 的双语字幕的软件，当然因为它是 AI 的嘛，就是难免还是会有一些错误，但是我们想应该是能够帮助到大家理解的。大家稍等，我们设置一下。然后同时那个我们前面还有一些小礼品，如果前面没时间过来拿的同学可以继续过来拿。然后我们还有一个 quiz 的一个就是考一考大家关于一些编程知识怎么样。然后参加这个 quiz 的话，还可以拿一些其他的礼品，比如说本子或者是保温杯。正好这个大家就是break 期间可以找点事情做，不会太无聊，对。
要不可以先留一部分，他需要更多了。要收尾的。 Okay. People ready? Yes. Okay. Yes. All right. So I am Wout Werkman. I also work at JetBrains, also as a software developer, and also just like Jan in the Kotlin multi-platform tooling team. Which what does that exactly mean? I'll get a little bit more into that later. But today I get the pleasure to talk about my favorite thing, which is Kotlin. Um, and what we're going to do today is actually, I really want to show as many geeky, cool things as possible. But before I get into that, I'm gonna get, Jan already did it a little bit. I think we landed on most people C++-ish backend, right? Yes? Who here does not know C++? Okay, okay. That's the backend, the background I can assume. That. Nice. Then you have a lot to enjoy from other languages. Let's put it that way. And Kotlin might be one of them. So what we're going to do today is actually we're going to start with with solving a problem. But before we get solving a problem, we need to find the problem first. So for that, I go to my personal favorite problem website, which is Advent of Code. Who here knows Advent of Code? Any Advent of Code enjoyers here? Yeah. It, ah, you've seen someone streaming it. Okay. Yeah, so it's indeed someone here saying that they've seen it on Twitch. It is quite popular for people to stream their progress here. It's a teeny little competition around the Christmas days. For those of you who know it, it's an Advent period, so the 24 days before Christmas, and they usually in this culture or in the more Americanized version of this Advent calendar, usually there's gifts every single day, usually like chocolates or poems or things. But we don't care about poems. We don't care about chocolate. We don't care about food. We want code, right? So Advent of Code gives you code, or well, it lets you code by giving you problems, and this is one of them. The very first day of 2022, still my favorite example to showcase, and it's a very simple problem, and it is us. It starts with us saving Christmas because Santa's in trouble. The poor guy, you know, it happens every year again. Santa is lost, Santa's gone, and we're out looking for him. And we are now the elves, of course. So what happens? First of all, yada, yada. And now we're here, and we're in the jungle. We're going after Santa, trying to find this guy, and we're stuck. Like, how are we going to navigate through the jungle? We can't use our advanced vehicles. We can't use boats or anything. We have to go on foot. And here, what we do is we start by taking inventory, which is we're going to be looking at what each elf is carrying on them. Just realize, actually, most of the people were from higher levels, right? From a higher year, no, lower year. Okay. Otherwise, I could have. Okay, never mind then. So, and what they're going to do is, while taking inventory, they look at all the food that the elves are carrying with them. So we get one sample input, right here.
And this is 5 elves. 1 elf here, 1 elf here, 1 elf here. And each one of these elves is carrying a certain number of snacks with them. This one is carrying 3 snacks, this one is carrying a single snack. And each one of these snacks has a certain number of calories. So this snack is 1,000 calories, this snack is 3,000 calories, and this snack is 10,000 calories. I also don't know whether they mean 10,000 kilocalories or 10,000 calories. But either way, it's either very little, a very small snack, or a humongous snack, but that's not our problem. And what we have to do is we have to find which one of these elves is carrying the largest number of snacks. And which one is that? In this case, top University of China. Come on, guys. Right? Which one is it? Number 4. Thank you. Indeed, yes. It is this elf. Oops. This elf. This elf is carrying, indeed, 24,000 calories of snacks in these 3 snacks. And whoops. For that, we are, and here you can see also 24,000 is the expected output. And that is what we have to give back. 24,000 is the number that in this case we need to give back. So how do we solve that? I'm sorry, I already solved it. First, I'm going to go to the in a little. Is readable in the back? Yes, great. Okay, good. And real estate left, green real estate. So what I did is I first built a test. Okay. We're real engineers, right? We start with our test, and then I put in the sample input, which you can recognize from here, and I expect this to be 24,000. If I run the tests, you will find that I already implemented it. The test will pass. I'm sorry, I know that's the most exciting part, but the way I implemented it is specific, especially for you guys. I wrote it in a very C-style way, and here you can see it. So first thing you might notice is that mostly, I'm guessing for most of you, this will look somewhat. You guys can understand what's happening here. And broad lines, nothing too crazy happening here. One thing you might notice is that this is a garbage collected language. You see no memory management here, or no explicit memory management. And yes, we're not reference counted, we're not managed. We are garbage collected language. And but still not the greatest code, I think. Still a lot of code, some patterns that even in C++ you would do differently. So I'm gonna start by making this code a little nicer piece by piece. So first of all, there's this pattern. Even this pattern is twice here. You have the var, you have the while loop, and some I++, right? We probably recognize this. How do you do this in other languages? Even C++ has this. Oh, sorry, thank you. Yes. And let me turn this thing to light. Yes. Okay, thank you for that, Dion. So now that people can finally read what's happening, let's go start over again. No, I'm asking about the var while I++ loop. Who recognizes this? How's this done in more modern programming languages? Sorry, Kotlin, yeah. Yeah, this is Kotlin code, indeed. Sorry, I haven't even mentioned that. But we are looking at Kotlin code. But this very common pattern Okay. I'll interact with myself today. Is actually, you might recognize it. First of all, you might expect the famous for loop, right? Might expect for, and this I just plus thingamabob is increment is here, right? That's what you would expect. But Kotlin says, "Mwah." This is not Kotlin code. Kotlin is a bit more modern. If people know Python here, for in, yeah. So thank you indeed. There is, you would say for I in, exactly. In, and then what would you say then in Python? Yeah. What would you do in Python? A range, exactly. So in Python, you would say, for I in range, and I'm going to start with the explicit version of it, a range, right? A range of integers from 0 to the size exclusive. In Python, you can write it in short like this. But in Kotlin, we have decided we can make it this work. We can make the range function that does this, and you can even optimize it. But this is, but we have a more modern syntax for this. Also, maybe anyone here knows Swift? Any Swiftie? Yes, there's a Swift. Okay. Someone knows. Sorry for calling you Swiftie, but a Swift lover. Or well, you didn't say you love it, but you said you know it. How would you do this in Swift? Okay, I see. They don't remember, just reiterating for the live stream. But what in Swift you would say is dot, dot, dot. In Kotlin, it's just dot, dot. And this is how we express a range, right? It's more the mathematical form, right? Range is a mathematical term. Might as well use a more mathematical notation, right? So this is how we express a range. And now, if I run the tests, you will see the test says, "Mwah." Compiles fine, but there is an error. Who can guess? What would the error be? Huh? Yes, equal, or equal, you probably mean inclusive range. Yes, indeed. This range is inclusive, which means that we are getting an index out of bounds exception. When they mean memory safety, they don't mean index out of bounds safety. So what you have to say that this is an exclusive range. So a range exclusive, an exclusive range, what we also have syntax for. And now if we run the test, of course, I did not have double selection anymore. Now do I? Yes, okay. Okay. Now the test passes, and this error that we had, we already had a very sharp comment. This index out of bounds error is very common. It's very annoying, and it shouldn't be necessary. It really shouldn't be. The reason, like actually, off by one errors and just index errors are so common that in modern programming, actually, we use it less and less. And here also, we don't need to use indices. Why do we iterate over the numbers, over the indices of this collection, to then just use it to iterate over the collection, right? You're already ahead of the game, exactly. Why not just iterate over the collection, right? We don't need the indices. So, collections, yes. I can just iterate over the collection immediately. We don't need to and now it works. Now we go, test pass, all is fine, and we not use indexes. Another bug magnet, because really indices are bug magnets. If you don't need to use them, don't use them. And so far, so good. Nothing too crazy that I've shown you. And super. Okay. Yes. Then probably, who here is familiar with the concept of higher order functions? Higher order functions. This is okay, there's one. This is a bit of a thing that is a typical functional programmer thing. Functional programmers are very smart people. I have a lot of respect for them. But they also like to make very smart terms for very useful features. But higher order function is a function that takes a function as a parameter. That's in the more do-do style, like language, like I prefer. We are going to use higher order functions. Actually, Kotlin, one of the things that where Kotlin tried to really use modern syntax is more specifically around these higher order functions. But first of all, when I say a function that takes a function as an argument, as a parameter, who knows what I'm talking about when I say a function that takes a function? Does that make sense to anyone? To one, okay. Almost a hand, half a hand, ish, yes, maybe. Or do you have a question? No. It's kind of, but you don't define the function in the function. We'll get to, okay. Then I'll focus a bit more on this. I'll zoom a bit in on this. Okay. So for that, I am going to, we're going to look at these two snippets of code. This bit of code and this bit of code, they actually look very similar, especially if I inline this. Oh, no, not yet. First, I have to, they don't look too similar yet. First, I'm going to make this code a bit weirder. We'll get there eventually, but before I do that, I'm going to not keep track of the numbers. So I'm not just going to keep track only of the sum and the max. I'm going to keep track of all the numbers in the lists. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be creating a mutable list of integers. And what we're going to do with that mutable list is we're going to be using, we're going to be adding the numbers to this list. So this anymore, okay, great, and it's fine. Plus equals, by the way, in Kotlin is the same as just it just adds the value to the list. And so far, you might be confused. I think why, and also the compiler thinks why, because this ain't compiling, right? There is a compiler error. Who can tell me what is a compiler error now? Yes, it's not an int anymore. Great, okay. What do you think? So what our function is saying, like, hey, this function will return an integer. But we aren't returning an integer right now, right? We are returning something else. And who can guess? We are now returning a list of integers. So, and not just a list of integers, a mutable list of integers. And I am going to actually zoom in this mutable list a little bit. because this is another thing that actually in C++ isn't necessarily that much part of their ideology. But in a lot of modern languages, actually, this is more part of how modern languages suggest you to do programming. And okay, so what am I talking about? First of all, who here knows what mutable means? Who here knows what it means to mutate? We got one hand again. You know it all, huh? Great, great. It means to change, to alter, to change the value, right? So a value is mutable if you can change it. It's immutable if you cannot change it. And in Kotlin, we try to take an approach where things are more immutable by default. So if instead of just writing list of here, instead of writing mutable list, I would have written list of, this would now not compile anymore. Because now we're trying to call .add, but .add does not exist on a list. Because lists are not mutable. You cannot change a list. After you create a list, it's impossible to change it. So what we do is we explicitly create a mutable list, and no, interesting details, but I'll go over that now. I'll skip that for now. And the reason that Kotlin is, and actually most modern languages, or like languages that are more towards safety and try to prevent you from making errors, the reason they are more immutable is because what we have realized in modern day programming and software that scales, but also threading models and CPUs that scale, is that immutable is actually not great. Sorry, there's immutability? Mutability. Mutability is not great. First of all, and this I like to focus on this, people don't talk about this part enough, is mutability is just hard to understand. If you have a function, and this function just takes a value and returns void, then what does it do, right? Like, it's very hard to see exactly what it does. You have to go to the implementation, or if you're lucky, the name of the function properly describes what it does. Where if it were not mutable, it would have to return some value instead, right? And then you get security, and things just become clearer a lot. This is one thing that is a hard lesson that a lot of more experienced developers have learned. And the next one is for threading. Because if you thought mutability was hard to understand already, try mutability in a multi-threaded environment. It is no fun. Concurrency really, really messes with your ability to comprehend mutable code. And therefore, modern languages suggest you to use less mutability. And Kotlin is one of them. Vol here, for example, means that I cannot reassign it. I would have to say to write var to make it. While in older languages, you would have to write final or read only or const. In Kotlin, we went for the more correct default. So, okay, long story. Back to our problem, back to our compiler problem. So, we are now giving a mutable list of integers, or expecting an integer, and no, this is not the solution. We can't just cast it. Too nice. But we have to do something else. But what? Sorry? Yes. So for, right? So for keep track of the keep track of the largest value, right? Is that what you said? Oh, fold. Ah, yes, that's great. I love fold. Sorry, fold. Yes, also fold we can do, yes, e times, no, root plus, whatever. Okay, yes. So actually, if you know fold, you know higher order function. Fold is a high, okay. You didn't raise your hand. Sorry. Okay. Yes, but there is something simpler. Sum. Exactly. Oh, wait, I said sum. I did a sum just now, but I mean actually max. Sorry, you're right. So max, and here it is dot sum. Okay, great. So now if I run the test, test pass, and yay, we made our code more confusing. Great, right? Well, we are going to do, now what we can do is we can look at both our solutions. And if I rename the variables here a little bit to much better names, I know, I'm quite a, there we go, look at that. I'm a bit of a poet, if I may say so. Okay, now what we do is we find actually that these two solutions look quite alike. Namely, if I select this and I select this and I do compare with clipboard, what we find is now they look very much alike, right? They both make a new list, add values to this list, and they both, but they both use a different function. So they have an original list, they create a new list, and for each value of the original list, they apply a function. In this case, we apply the toInt function, and in this case, we apply the sum all calories off function. So you might say like, if only we could improve this, right? So let's now look at how you do this in regular cases. Let's say I have some function that fun, very fun. Add one, sure. And I have some x, and what it does is it returns x plus 1, and we have add 2. I'm not saying like it's going to be great naming, but now what I want is I have some, I want to make these functions, I want to make a single function that does what both of these do, right? So let's do something a little bit more complicated. So let's say like times 5 plus 2 or something, right? If it makes a little bit more sense. Oh, wait, I said, yeah. Okay, now what I mean. So imagine that now I want to make a single function that is like what both of these do. I want to repeat myself less. This is not very great wording right now, but how do I extract this to a common function? I really failed to put that in proper words, but okay. I'm just gonna spoil it. What you do is usually you look at the function. You look at the compare with clipboard. You find what is different, right? You try to extract this part that is different to a parameter. So here in this case, this is actually, we have some other, and let's call it y, if I'm creative again. And now this function, so this is just add generic, sure. And this one, it can now just call add generic x of 1, right? And the add 2 would have been, would be add generic of 2, right? Not saying this is useful yet, but this is a way that a methodology, right? You look at the difference between two parts of code, and you extract what is common between them into a parameter, effectively, right? So now we can go back to our previous comparison, which is this and this, clipboard, and now we see. Actually, let's do it one. Let's extract this to a function. Here I'm going to call it foo because again I'm creative. And now we see that they look very similar, right? But unlike previously, right, where it was just an integer, which is easy to extract to a function, right, to a parameter. Like here, obviously, we cannot extract this to a parameter, right? Right? Well, you can. Thank you. You can. So actually, and that is what it means to have a function as a value. And this is where Kotlin really starts showing that it's more quite a modern language. Where if I now want to, so I'm going to call it how am I going to call the function? Map values, integers, so whatever. Okay, sure. And now this function, oh, I removed the tool already. Now what I want to do is I want to generify this, right? And I can't just like click this and extract that to a parameter. But what I can do is I can extract to functional parameter. And now I'm going to call it mapper. And you're like, what is this map and what is this mapper thing I'm talking about? So we'll get there. We'll get there. Skip that for a sec. Okay, I'm going to go back to the function. What did yeah, okay, doesn't matter. Okay, sorry. What you see here is you see here a mapper argument. This is a function. This is a parameter of type, and then you see that this is the type of that parameter, which is again a function which takes a string and returns an integer. So in full, this whole function is a function that takes two parameters, which is one list of strings, and on the other hand, it takes another function, which then takes a string and returns an integer. So this is what we do. First of all, I'm going to prefer to use lists, so for mutable lists, that's the first thing we're going to do. Then the next thing we're going to do is, I'm even going to go a little bit bolder than map integer. I'm going to call it map. Okay, sure. Why would I call it map? Let's forget about that. Then I'm going to show you a feature, which is a very cool feature in Kotlin. And actually, some languages have this, but I definitely think that Kotlin has the neatest syntax for this. Namely, okay, first of all, like let's start with some weird code like this, right? This code obviously is wrong, right? Integer does not have a full function. That would be impossible. Like, I do not control the integer class. I cannot change it, and that's true. Because you cannot change classes after they are declared. But what you do have is so what you would do in usually it's just okay. You have to write it like this, right? But Kotlin actually allows you to write it like this, which is very similar to what we wrote before. Here you can see this is how I declare a function as an extension of int. So very, very important to understand. This does not change the integer class. The integer class is still the same. This is really just syntax sugar. It's very, very much the same as just this. I can show you the compiled bytecode and show you that it compiles to the same bytecode effectively, but I don't have time for that right now, and I hurry a little bit. So this is extension function. It's very cool. Kotlin uses this a lot actually because it decouples some cool details. But I'm going to apply that here, and this, a horribly named parameter, is now a receiver. Okay, okay. So you have .map. It takes a mapper, which is a function that applies a function that is going to map each value. So, first of all, does this make sense to people? Who are lost? Anyone who is here like, I know, it's much more annoying to do this in C++. Why do I care about this? You know. Well, actually, in C++, you can also have functions as values. There's a couple of caveats. They definitely don't use very modern syntax for it, but they do have it, so it's still useful to know. There's a good chance that you might have already used it here and there, but not confuse you. Now I want to apply that here. So what I do is I now on B call .map, so to call this function. And then what I have to do is then I have to give it a function, right? Now I have to give it the function that is going to map it from the strings to the integers, right? And which function am I going to use? The sum all calories off function, which is almost like this, but then just a colon, which just means a reference to this function. And then this is what we had before. Yes. I want to talk about a lot of other cool things as well, but this is already probably quite foreign for C++ developers, I'm guessing. For whom is this? Who now looks at this and thought like, oh, never mind. I know exactly what this is. I used it all the time already. I know. Here's one at least. Okay. So actually, this is a syntax that's not always needed. It's not that special. Sometimes you don't want to give something a name. Imagine that if for every time I wanted to print some string, imagine that always I had to first give the string a name, right? So what does that mean? Like right now, for example, given this string a name, right? Kind of like message, and I give it to print line. Now, this is great and all, but sometimes you don't want to do that, right? Sometimes you don't want to name your value. Sometimes you just want to write it immediately right there. And what is that? What that is called an anonymous expression. It's an expression with some value without a name. And functions also have this counterpart. You can also write a function without a name. You might think like, how do you do that, right? Like, is it just like, I can't just remove the name from a function, right? So what you do is I can write it right here. So then I'm going to do that here, and I'm going to do b.map. Now I'm going to give it a literally a function. It's also called a function literal. Just like this is literally a string, right? And this is literally an integer. Here I'm going to give it literally a function. And this here is literally a function. This is a function without a name. And here I can give the parameter some name. So I'm going to call it calorie line or something. Int. And this is now I literally give it this function. And this function is going to use to map each value. And then the next step is if it's the last parameter, the last argument to a function, then you do not need to surround it in parentheses. This is the more modern Kotlin syntax that actually Kotlin hasn't even invented. Actually, Groovy was one of the first big languages or bigger languages with this. Swift has also adopted it. For you, the Swift developer, maybe you recognize it. Now I am going to get rid of my very bad naming. Yes. And now I have solves my problem. And this, that, and now there's this crazy feature in Kotlin that if you remove a function, okay, so first of all, I'm going to show you that if I run the test passed, right? I'm going to remove the function. And now if I run the test still passed. Crazy, huh? There's this feature that if you remove Kotlin, they still, no. This function that we just declared already exists. It's actually a standard library function. That's why I called it map, which you might think like that's a confusing function, because for some people when they hear map, they think of like hash map, of data structures. No, this map is from functional programming again, and it refers to mapping values from one to another. And this here is the solution. Again, the test pass. But if I now I can actually didn't do the debugging here. Now, if I debug through it, I can show you what this does, right? You can see what actually happens here. What we do is first we have this value, right, which is the whole string. This string we split on each double new line. All of those values I'm going to map to the sum of vocabularies of it. So here you can see that is all of the sum of all of the snacks that they have. You see here the 24,000. That is the one we want, right? So of those, I'm going to get the max, which is 24,000. And in here, you can see also that what we do here is we take this, split it on new line, get the integer for it, and then sum it to get 6,000. The sum of this is 6,000, right? That is what we're doing. But there is some inefficiency here. And first of all, you shouldn't care. This is what we're doing here is like caring about this list allocation, because yes, who here is actually also familiar with JVM? Can I geek out about the JVM a little bit? Okay. No, it doesn't. Full details, but sure. I'll leave it to myself. Where was it going? Yes. So what we do is here in between, we do create a whole new list of integers, right? And this whole new list of integers is going to be, the JVM is going to be allocated on the heap. Actually, even all the integers are going to get allocated on the heap as well. But, and yes, that is overhead. And yes, the JVM will optimize quite some things in here. But it's not, it's like compared to what we had at the very, very start, right? You could say, but now we have extra allocations, right? And actually, you don't need to. Specifically for this case, because this is quite a common use case, it's quite common to first map and then do sum, and first map and then do max. Kotlin actually has your back here. And I even suggest, I suggest you not to use this because of the performance micromanagement, but do this because it just reads nicer. I find it to read nicer. So actually, let's see if that makes more similar. This function here, these two functions, map.max, can just be max off. This is the same, and actually, so you can see now we have this whole intermediate list. You can just go to sum off, and then you can see it adds up to 6. Like we immediately go to the resulting integer, right? Removes the integer, the list of integers in the middle, and I consider makes it slightly nicer to read. So Sure. Now if I run the test, you see, test pass, great. But there is. But there is a little hidden bug in here. The little hidden bug is apparent when you run this on a Windows machine, or specifically on a pretty old Windows machine, and you saved a file, and then you put this file into this program, and suddenly you get number format exception. What? How does that happen, right? And first of all, it would be pretty tedious to fix the bug entirely here, but because the bug actually exists in two places, and we're going to fix it only in one place in this program because it's tedious to do it in the other place. But I think it also, again, makes the code slightly nicer to read. So who thinks I have a little bit of a clue? Yes, thank you. Carriage return, the infamous, the great, or the not so great. Exactly. Sometimes some OSs think that this is new line. They say, no, this ain't new line. This is new line, right? And to do that, actually, can that either or this or that this, which will solve. I don't really like how it reads, and it is actually very common. This use case of just reading the lines of some string, right? Getting the lines of some string. For there is the function. The microphone is flaking a little. Right? Is it okay for the people in the back still? Okay. For that, there is lines. And lines does the same as what I wrote before. It properly checks for new line characters, considers the odd cases as well, and most importantly, it just reads nicer, right? And again, I can show you. Pass, voila. Now, this is a bit of the Kotlin mindset. I really personally quite like this. It is part of the mantra, the Kotlin mantra in the design of the library, which is that usually the shorter code, the more concise code, should be the more correct code. I'm not saying it is always, but as a library author, you should strive for this. You should strive for people to allow them to write code shorter, to make code more correct, right? Like in this case, you can use .lines, and there's a lot of very cool examples. There's some, especially when you go to capitalization of characters, there's actually some pretty interesting cases that are, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if in Chinese language there's a lot of, capitalization issues, right? Yeah. But yeah, there is some funky edge cases. Also, defaults, daytimes. There's some crazy things. And yeah, okay, I'll skip it. But this is one of those cases. And now, yes, this is a little shorter, right? And some of you might say, like, this is short. You think this is short? You should see what I do in Python. I would have done this in one line of Python, right? Well, you want one line? Let's give you one line, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to run through some stuff, some cool features just quickly. First of all, if the anonymous function, or aka lambda, aka the function listable, has no has only a single parameter, you can just call it. Okay, great. New lines, who cares about new lines? Okay, sure. This function, we can inline it. Great. Here also, who cares about this? We can call it. New lines again, I don't care. Function. Oh, this function, all it does is just return a value, right? You can just write it like this. Oh, now you have an expression body, right? You don't even need to write the type of the function. It's actually growing on me. Now you can also remove the type, Now, you know me. Readable names? Hell nah, right? B and A, way better. And voila. Now, if I run the tests, you see, test pass, and I have solved the program in a 76 charts. So, yes, when we say that shorter code should be more correct, we don't say that shorter code is always more readable, right? I mean, this is definitely not the kind of code you should write. And also, I didn't make it any more correct. So, yes, don't necessarily write this code. But for the people who really like it, it's a bit of a thing, especially for inventive code. There's a lot of people who like to solve each day in a single line of Python code. Try yourself. Have some fun with it with Kotlin as well. Anyway, now we should really start wrapping up. Okay. All the cool things. Okay. I'll stop myself. If you want to see more cool things, please just come to me. There's this very cool thing. Oh, I love about Kotlin multi-platform. Very briefly, very quickly. Kotlin multi-platform, that's also a very big thing for people. First of all, Kotlin usually compiles to, what you see here is actually it compiles to JVM, just like Java does. And what Oracle says is Java runs everywhere, right? Which is pretty correct. Well, not entirely, right? First of all, it doesn't really run on web. There's like Quarkus or some funny, which is kind of not really used anymore. And also, the big and bad iOS. Oracle and Apple had a feud. Apple said, no, we won't let you run on our devices. So this is kind of a bummer because Android developers, you might know, Android developers actually also use Kotlin. Android picked Kotlin as the first language for Android. And they are like, wait, we write code and we can't even use it on iOS? Well, that's a bummer, right? Well, they can. If they write in Kotlin, unlike Java, you can also compile it. You can also compile it to native, which is very cool. It uses LLVM, just like C++ and Rust and Swift, which you compile ahead of time, and then you can run it on your iOS devices, which is very cool for app developers. And this is actually where we do some tooling. We'd love to talk about it more. If you have questions, contact later. Very little time. And also it compiles to WebAssembly, so you can run it on the browser, which is great. And it does not use GraalVM in the middle, like Java kind of does. And this means that too many details. It's very cool. Ask us if you have questions. I would love to talk about it more. Also, coroutines is amazing. I love talking about coroutines. A very cool concurrency model, structured concurrency. I really like talking about this. But limited time. Are there questions? Thank you. Are there questions? Thank you. No? Yeah. Scala. Actually, yes. So, first of all, I haven't even talked about that. One very big thing about Kotlin is also extremely, like, absolutely top-notch interop with Java. This is like, actually, language interop is extremely complex. And a lot of languages make a lot of sacrifices, right? But interop in Kotlin doesn't even just mean one way. In Kotlin, you can, Kotlin with Java, in a regular Java program, you can just drop a single Kotlin file somewhere, and things will just work. Aside from obviously some compiler plugins specifically for Java, but that's all separate thing. This is actually even with compiler plugins for Java. So things will just work both ways. You can just call both directions. There's some really cool things. And this is where Scala definitely already takes a couple steps back. Also, Scala doesn't map that well to the Java world. Scala takes a lot of sacrifices, a lot more sacrifices in terms of performance than Kotlin does. And also Scala looks more foreign to people, right? I actually like Scala here and there, but on top of that, I mean, it's a bit biased if we say it, but also like tooling for Scala is always a bit more difficult, right? Their build tooling is pretty cool. But yeah, they have compile time issues also in larger projects. But Scala is interesting language. I hope that answers your question. It's a bit here and there with the answer. But, yeah. More questions? Yes. Thank you. Sorry? Ah, yeah. Ah, okay. To develop an application for WeChat or like WeChat. Okay, like WeChat. Okay, yes, exactly. So obviously, I mean, I know I will probably not know even a little bit to which extent WeChat is an app because I know it's a humongous app with a lot of features. Um, but it is actually very popular. Like Kotlin is first of all the main choice for Android, right? Kotlin multi-platform on top of that actually is a very popular choice. It's gaining a lot of popularity currently, and unlike other multi-platform solutions like React Native, like Flutter, like Xamarin, no, the new Xamarin, uh, the new .NET one. Sorry, oh, Udno platform. Yes, Kotlin actually has some specific selling points. First of all, obviously, it is actually fully native on Android, which is just absolute top-notch performance, top-notch integration, top-notch developer experience on Android, unparalleled with anything else, of course. But also, it has very good methods to have access native APIs on separate platforms, and this is really cool, and I would have to really show you how nice it is. So actually, it would be a great fit, especially if you want to do it only for Android. It's just the best option, right? But even if you go multi-platform, it is still a really good option, right? And you can, this is also very cool, just write WebAssembly, write Swift on iOS and just call your Kotlin functions from, there's some interesting caveats because obviously Swift is a beast of a language. We work on supporting Swift in our IDE, so we know sadly a thing or two about the programming language. I'm geeking out too much, and we have limited time. Did I answer your question, please? Yes. Ah, IntelliJ. Yes. Okay. Whether Kotlin works better on IntelliJ? Well, I mean, it's kind of, I wouldn't say obvious, but I can't lie. Yes, it does. Um, like, it's just unparalleled. Like, we built, you need to imagine that the reason we built Kotlin, because our founders, they were Java developers, right? Like, they built they built IntelliJ back then, called IntelliJ Renamer, because all it did was renaming back then, was literally just, uh, they felt frustrations. They were like, renaming is annoying. If the compiler knows the function calls, right, or the original function, why can't we know? And they did build tooling around this. They, but they made Java experience better and better. And IntelliJ, when you're talking about C, C++, C, maybe Python, sure, you can have your preferences. But on IntelliJ, I would love to talk about this with you. I'm very sure, like, um, I'm very confident that we say we absolutely have the best tooling. I'm sorry for saying that. It's a bit arrogant maybe, but Java, it's so good, right? It's completely unparalleled. And for us, we built Kotlin because we realized with Java kind of like there's no um, you can't fix Java with IDE integrations alone, right? So we knew what people wanted, right? We knew what we ourselves as users, but also as builders of tools on languages, saw what languages were missing. And we saw, and yes, we built it ourselves, right? With IntelliJ. We built IntelliJ now mostly with Kotlin. So yes, the developer experience on Kotlin is definitely far superior to IntelliJ. But good news for you, don't tell the marketing people that I told you this. Our free version is great, has a lot of features, and everything, all the features I use today, all the features Jan showed you, are all in our free versions. And you have the paid versions as students. They're great. There are so many cool features. There's crazy features in the paid version, like integration with databases, Docker integration, or no, that's also in the free version. But integrations with frameworks, all kinds of really cool stuff that we just do not have the time to talk about. Even on the free version, Kotlin experience is amazing. It's really cool, and have yourself at it. Try yourself. It's actually really cool. But yes, there is a VS Code plugin. You can use it on VS Code. Try it out a bit, but good stuff. Yeah. Yes, I hope so too. Yes. Okay, cool. More questions? Yes. Yes. So actually, I like it. Still kind of a code block, you know. With this feature, um, if 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 an else were not hard keyword, I could literally I could write this, right? If true and then else, I can literally do like else, right? I could make this code compile. I could write functions and make this work, right? This would be an infix function. They both would take parameters, um, cool stuff. Anyways, but so really, it's actually quite a natural part. Like other functions are kind of also like higher order functions are also kind of like code blocks. And actually, and this is something very, very cool if you get, especially if you get into the design of coroutines or into the design of Compose, which are your framework, they heavily rely on this. And it feels like a very natural part of languages. And there's this cool thing at DSLs, you can very nicely kind of have domain-specific languages, design them inside of Kotlin. Really cool features where I'd love to people come to me, ask about it. I love it. These are some really cool things. But it's actually, I would consider, to answer your question, at least I think answering your question, I think it's a very natural part. And if you get used to it, it's really quite nice. And I actually really miss it if I work in Rust. I find the Rust declaration, yeah, okay, yeah, yes, yes, exactly. But yes, it returns a lambda, but in most cases, it just it shouldn't feel like that, right? In a lot of cases, it's just executed in place, right? Like whether you write for and then a loop, or you write like a list and then dot for each, both of them feel quite ergonomic, right? So I understand, and I challenge you, like, try it, right? Either in Kotlin, otherwise in Swift, otherwise in Groovy, right? There is a reason that more and more languages are adopting this syntax, and it's actually really nice if you get used to it. But that's, yeah, my bias. I'm not that used to the Rust one, especially on declaration side, but okay, I'm getting deep. We don't have that much time. More questions? Yes. Performance is obviously a very big topic, and it's very hard to immediately explain. First of all, the easiest way to explain it in a very short amount of time is assume it to be the same as Java, which is on the JVM is very accurate. But you write programs differently, right? Like once at the start, when a lot of Java developers, they often convert to Kotlin, they write effectively Java code, but then in Kotlin, right? But when you get more and more into it, when you see the idioms, when you start writing more idiomatic code, your code becomes, sorry, um, I really need to hurry up. And this actually can have performance advantages and make parallelism easier and some things, but when you really talk about performance, you're also talking about Kotlin native. How does it perform natively, right? It has its own runtime. Garbage collectors have different ergonomics, and performance is a very big topic, right? So assume it's the same as Java, roughly in the same benchmark. Sometimes faster, sometimes slower, but really it depends on how you write and what you're used to. Yeah. Okay, no problem. I'm gonna have to give the floor to Jan. I had a lot of fun. I really hope for more questions, so come to me afterwards. I have some really cool things I'd love to talk about. So thank you guys. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Did I like to say something? Oh, I need to connect this, right? Right? Okay. Hello, hello. I'm trying to say something. One, two. Okay, I'm gonna talk about JetBrains and AI. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna be talking about JetBrains and AI and what we do there, and just about presentation about Kotlin and okay, again, I'm going to be talking about JetBrains and what we do with AI. I'm going to be showcasing some use cases, tuning, and just about presentation about Kotlin. Okay, I'm going to be talking about JetBrains, AI, what we do there,
and it is still not translating. Oh, okay, now it works. Yeah, okay. Hopefully it's connected a bit better. Oh, and I have two mics connected. Is it better? A bit better now? It's still slow, right? Do you know which Wi-Fi was both connected to? Yes. Oh, okay. Can I use your hotspot?
I'm already on my hotspot. It should be on.
Yeah. I don't have the.
Hotspot.
Okay. Can I? No. No. I'm gonna use my connection. Okay. Oh, it's not working. Should be fine. Yeah.
Also very problematic.
Okay, I see. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I think we can value the speed because I'm not gonna be talking about too many technical terms. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Okay. Yep. Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's it. All right. Okay. Thank you. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna say something. Hopefully, it will capture the time. Okay. Nice. Thank you. Where is it? Okay. Now it is. If I just put something on full screen, the letters. Even in, oh, go away. Okay. Yeah. Can I hide this? Yeah. Okay. This shit. I turned it off. Sorry. Like it disappeared, but now I turned it off. Right. Sorry. What did I accidentally clicked on the. Yeah. 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 Does it work? Something. Yeah. That's fine. I'm gonna be switching windows anyway. It's all right. Thanks. That's okay. Okay. Sorry. A few technical difficulties again, but some managed. So, what am I gonna be talking now? Now about. So, the my lecture, Wout's lecture. We hope that you got the idea of what we're trying to do at JetBrains, which is, first of all, we have a lot of passionate developers, and they stand in front of the lyric, and they create a lot of nice features. Sometimes I even say like we have one issue at JetBrains, which is that we have way too passionate developers, because then they create features that are very powerful, very nice, but no one can see them, no one can find them because they don't tell anyone about them. But in general, the goal is like we're passionate about it. We ourselves are developers. We're working on IntelliJ and we're writing IntelliJ in IntelliJ. We're working on Kotlin, writing it in Kotlin. We ourselves dog food our stuff, which is really nice. And the whole goal, the whole point of this is to help developers make everything here. And right now I'm gonna be talking about what do we do with AI. The idea we have with AI is the same. It is very effective helper, very effective tool for developers. And we try to do as much as we can to make it as easy for developers to use AI, for it to be helpful for them. All right. The biggest thing for us is the integration with our existing products, with our IDEs. That's how we think we can help a lot to the developers. So first of all, it's highly integrated into the IDE. It feels very natural. You don't have to stop your workflow to go to some other application, have your queries answered, have your agents code for you. It is everything at one place. We also work on our own models, large language models. They are also publicly available. These models work, for example, for full line completion or multi-line completion, next edit prediction. All of these features I'm going to showcase you a bit later. And yeah, as I said, these models are, first of all, tailor-made for each of the programming languages. So we use different models for Python and for C++. So the models are also effective. And yeah, these models are also available. We also managed to create some models small enough so that they work locally offline, such as the full line completion. I believe that is, oh yeah, that one is definitely local. And then we have a few other ones, and yeah, and they actually rank pretty nice among at the benchmark. Yeah, as I said, you can set it to work offline in local mode, so you don't share anything or you don't send any data to the cloud. And not last, but also another point is that we don't want to break your routines. We want to make the AI feel very natural, as I said before. So for example, not only you can use the AI for coding and having it generate code for you, but also you can, okay, so imagine you've finished some feature and now you want to publish it, push it to your colleagues. Okay, so there's a couple other steps that you need to do. First, you have to commit. All right, well, you can have AI do that for you. Create a commit message, explain it meaningfully, what actually is happening in the changes that you did. Then you have to merge it into the main branch. That also very often you're gonna get merge conflicts. For that, now also AI can help you with and make this whole process a lot easier. So that's what we're dealing with here. There are just a few things that are either new or improved based on the colors since in the last release, which was this July. A couple of things I want to point out. The project rules, what that means, you can set up, this is again very useful when you work in a team. You can set up rules that the AI follows all throughout your project. And also it is shared. You can commit this, and all your other teammates are going to have it as well. An example of such rule is, for example, so IntelliJ was originally written in Java. Now most of new files are written in Kotlin. And if you ask AI, okay, can you help me with this feature? If it's using a lot of Java files, it might decide to create a Java file. But we don't want that. We want to use Kotlin. So you can create a rule. Okay, so from now on, please do not generate any Java files. If it's a new one, generate it in Kotlin. Another one, a big one, a big one, is content management. And your LLM is only as good as the context you give it. So that is a big part. And we try to make this as easy as possible for you to give just the right amount of context and what's actually needed. First of all, you have a lot of options how to do this manually, and second of all, the IDE does it for you. That's the integration I was talking about. I'm gonna switch to my IDE where Unfortunately, the translation doesn't work. Oh, maybe it is gonna work if I do this. All right, okay, translation is still there. So I want to show you a couple of features for the context management. I myself will divide the stuff you can, like AI you can encounter in our ID into 3 categories. First one is AI assistant chat window, which is here, and well, this is a chat. You can ask your questions. It knows where your documentation is. It can access internet as well. You can also set up NCP so that it can access any documentation outside of the regular one. If you ask it a question, okay, there's a big project. Okay, explain this concept. Like, how does the concurrency work in this project? You can ask it. It's gonna examine the source files and then answer you. Yeah, and then you can modify the context a lot. So let's take a look how you can add stuff manually. So first of all, here you can select a lot of by default a lot of LLM models. You can also set up local model. For that, you can, for example, use LM Studio and a lot of others. For you, what might be relevant more is integration with, for example, with DeepSeek. Unfortunately, I really should have double checked this. In July, there were one of the goals was to make DeepSeek specific integration a lot easier. Where it stands now, unfortunately, I don't know. We might take a look at it after the presentation, but that's just one of the points. Anyways, so you can select the model. Here you can select whether you want a chat mode or whether you want to work with some agents. Junie is our AI agent. I'm gonna be talking about that a bit later. Then by default there's Claude. But okay, there's this big plus. What can you add there? So instructions. Right now I don't have any instructions. But similarly to rules, you can create them, and it's just gonna follow them for your inputs. You can add symbols from the symbols from your current project. That means any classes, any methods, any variables, properties, and it will reference them. You can also do that in the chat here with the @ sign. Yeah, for example, the context management, right? You can also select files. Probably you've seen that here. Very nice feature. Well, in this project, I don't have any comments, but you can add, which is amazing because, again, if you work in a team, probably what I could have done in my previous presentation, I saw that there was a commit which just introduced some fixed bugs. Then there was another one which was really complex. What I could have done, ask the AI, okay, could you explain this? What this commit is intending to do? What are the changes about? Really nice project structure with multimodal models. You can also use images. And then if you don't know how to reference anything, you can use visual navigation and visual selection. Also pretty nice. Okay, but all of this is manual. I want to show you some features. This not ideal. Little realistic. So the IDE also tries to select the best context for you. It tries to help you with that. So for example, when I select something, it is gonna appear here, selection lines 8 to 12. If I select just some words, it's gonna limit it to just the characters. What is also really nice, if I do some something that just does not make sense, such as what is this? Not addition, opposite of addition. Subtract in an integer from string, like this is just a compiler error. Doesn't make sense. Again, this is a very simple example, but what I want to show you, if I select this line, it's gonna give me by base the file that I'm working in, then the selection, but also this tiny little problem. And I think that's very powerful. This just tells you that this is actually nope. This is exactly what the IDE gonna show you, because the IDE has a lot of static analysis and all of this smartness that sometimes you just know, okay, this is not gonna compile. This is just wrong. And there's many more cases. If you select it, it's gonna it will tell the AI, hey, this is maybe something that might be relevant for me. Let's also take a look at some of the local models. So, for example, here there's just a very simple class reader and some methods reading primitives from some stream. I've realized, okay, I don't want to read from stream. I just want to read from file. So let's start renaming it. File. Okay. I have to rename a lot of stuff. Probably I could use a renamer, but using a renamer for many functions might be tedious. Anytime in the IDE, when you see anything purple, such as is it big enough? Yeah. Such as here, like the background is purple, and here there's a tab, which actually says tab to rename usages. So I'm just gonna do tab, and what it does, all of the usages, so the AI assistant has access to all the smartness, all the intentions and stuff inside of the IDE, so it can decide for itself. Okay, the user has just renamed this file. Maybe they want to rename all the usages as well. So the AI just suggests that for you. Let's continue renaming. Yes, of course. I'm gonna wait a little. Yeah, okay, that did not like that. I'm just pressing tab, nothing else. Everything is purple, so that means AI is like some of the local models, some of the online models as well. They are taking care of this. Yes, I want to rename this as well. Is there something else that's gonna? Okay, main function. Okay, I don't want that. Let's skip that one. Let's try this one. Sure. Is it gonna? Okay. And now the next function is purple. I was jumping all around, so it only recommended me now. But what this is gonna do, this is the next edit prediction. Like, it tries to guess, okay, what's the next edit the user wants to do. In this case, I've already renamed 4 functions, so probably the next one I also want to rename. Okay, rename it. Sure, rename all the usages as well. Right, another one, which is the full line completion. Yeah, so this is the full line completion. This is gonna get me multi-line completion as well right away for other types that there might be. Yeah, all right, let's get back to the presentation, which is up here, up here. Okay, and let's move this here again. All right. Okay, so that is the context management. Yeah, as I said, usually the better context you provide to an LLM in general, the better it performs. Right. Other points I already mentioned: local models, code completion for which is specific. Each model is specific for the language, and detailed models info. I'm gonna have a picture for that later. Yeah, here's the two of the things that I talked about. Well, AI in chat. That's the first one I've shown you. Also, another thing, kind of nice is that if I used AI in chat, ask it, sure. I ask it to generate a main method for this file. Okay, it's going to generate something. Yeah. It's working. Blah 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 blah. But what is like this chat window? You can apply changes that it does. By default, it does not operate in there. Otherwise, for generating in here, you can use by default. By default, it is maybe if I right click, there's gonna be some AI action generate code. So you can ask it in the window, but in here, everything's gonna stay inside of the chat window. But there's this apply function, which is just gonna apply whatever it generated. It's gonna take a look at the diff and generate and apply only what is relevant. Let's get back to the presentation. All right. So it would be the AI in a chat window, AI in an editor. Is there something I want to say? I think I've mentioned most of the stuff. And then the workflow, as I said, merge, merge conflicts, resolve merge conflicts, helps you with that as well. And then privacy, of course. Here's some pictures. So here's just an example of the guidelines of the instructions that you can provide. And here's like users sometimes have issues with how to decide which model to use. And like generally, I think users just use the default one. But if they are more of an experienced user, they might want to fiddle around with different ones. But how do you know which one is good for what? Well, we've tried to make it a bit easier to determine the cost and whether it can be used for reasoning. It has reasoning capabilities or not. Yeah, and so on. Okay, there was a video of the multi-line completion for next edit prediction, but I showed you that. And as I said, so AI assistant, the key is integration, and you can find it in most of our IDEs, if not all, I'm not sure. But also you can use it in Android Studio. But Android Studio is based on IntelliJ, so IntelliJ platform, so not probably too surprising. But you can also use it in Visual Studio Code. But there, like, all I'm talking about is like the advantages of the integration with our IDEs. So you might like ask, okay, if it's in Visual Studio, it's not going to be as good, right? It's not going to be as smart. It will not be able to use the refactorings, the formatting, etc. Well, there is a solution for that. So you can actually expose the IDE as a MCP server. Are you familiar with what an MCP servers are? MCPs are? So I'm gonna explain them a little bit. How AI works. You give it some instructions. It's gonna reason about them. It's gonna give you an answer. But sometimes you might want to give it some tools to operate with. For example, if I'm gonna ask AI, hey, tell me what time or what weather is in Europe right now. The AI, like, it doesn't know, right? It has no idea what time is it. Maybe it does, but what time is it? What day is it? Where I am? So I can give it a tool which is gonna be, let's say, an internet web page, which is gonna say, okay, weather in this location is such and such. In other locations is such and such. And so then with this tool is the MCP connection. And with this, then the AI can think, okay, so the user asked me about weather in Europe. So I have this tool that gives me current weather at the location I tell it to. So it's gonna use this tool, hey, tool, tell me the weather. And it's gonna give it back the answer, and then the AI is gonna give the answer to me. So the way you can use the IDE as an MCP server, imagine you use AI from, let's say, the Visual Studio, and then you tell the AI, hey, could you make this code, could you reflect, or format it so that it follows your guidelines that you have set up, that it looks like a regular Python code or your regular C++ code. for example, like this old spaces, indenting, and all of that, so that it's nice and neat. The AI can then reason about it. It can decide, okay, so I have this tool, IntelliJ IDEA or CLion, which can do formatting. And that's what the user wants. So, okay, I'm gonna call the IDE. Hey, format this code for me. It does the formatting. Returns this output to the AI, and the AI then reports it back to the user. Yeah, so you don't need to lose all the smartness of the IDE, even if you use it from elsewhere. Here's just some. The same applies actually to the errors, like all the static analysis and all of that is in our IDs. Next one. All right. That would be about an AI assistant in general. Now let's move on to Junie, and I've already discussed it. Yeah, there with a colleague who had the question before. Now I probably understood what the question was about. So this is the AI assistant. That works in the chat window. There's some smartness in the editor itself, but then we have Junie, who's our AI agent, and also, so if you want to download it, you have to download a plugin, and for an agent, you just tell it what to do, and it just completes everything. It implements the whole solution across multiple files. It generates new files. It takes a look at the structure of your project. If you give it like very vague questions or tasks, it's gonna ask you for more details. I can show you some examples afterwards. You can also give it MCP connections, so you can give it more tools. One example is, okay, you're working on a web application. So you tell Junie, okay, create a web application that can do, let's say, to-do list. It's gonna implement everything. Says, okay, looks good. I'm done implementing, but now let's test it. It can either create tests, sure, but web applications, that is like applications in general. That's something you want to test visually as well, or and try to run it. So if you give Junie access to the web browser, it can just launch the application, and in the web browser, it can take a look at the logs, see whether there's something being reported. It can take a look at the structure of the web itself to see whether if you wanted to add like some specific button, whether it's there, whether the action is correct. So you can also add MCPs to make it even more more valuable of a tool for you. Right here is here is an example of. So I told Junie, actually, the whole project in my first presentation was generated by Junie. Here's an example of, I gave it just very vague task, which was to create audio visualizer using FFT, and that was it. And what it asked me was, okay, zoom in a bit. Okay, well, I'm gonna create it, but please tell me more. Like, what platforms do you want to focus on? Is there any performance limitations that I should, Junie should take into consideration? What kind of visualization do I want? So then, another really nice thing is that it usually gives you defaults. So you can just say, yeah, please, sure, do whatever you want. Use the defaults, and it's gonna do that. You can also turn off this mode where it asks you questions. So if you just wanted to implement everything as it decides, you can do that as well. But I think it's nice that it can ask. Oh yeah, so MCP I talked about. Junie, yeah, this is just again from the last release, which was in July. It has developers of Junie managed to make it 30% faster without sacrificing the performance. Another great thing is remote development. So Junie now runs, for example, on GitHub. So you can just launch Junie there, have it do its job, and then you can close your laptop, go to a coffee place, open your laptop, everything's finished, everything's done, and you can continue working. Yeah, here's an example of an MCP usage. So here Junie has decided to use some library description, I guess, documentation, library documentation, to reach out there and get more information about some library that it is using. All right. Now, while Wout was working, actually, while Wout was having his presentation, God, that's a lot. The rest, okay. This is actually a Kotlin multi-platform application that I created not too long ago with Junie. This is the state where it was at the start of Wout's presentation. Everything is generated by Junie. I purely web coded it. Sometimes when something was wrong, I took a look at the code and had it fix a few things. But what I did right now in a span of a couple of minutes is I asked it to. I had two tasks for it. One is to create infinite looping. No, this one. Yeah. Okay. I asked it to create. So this. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I wanted this banner to rotate. So to go from left to right, then come again, and for it to be moving. So that was the task I gave to Junie. Where is, yeah. Oh yeah, can you make the top banner currently active, blah, blah, blah. It should rotate in an infinite loop. That's all I told it to. So it did that. There was one issue, it was working fine. There was one issue that it was too tall. It was taking too much real estate. So I take it, okay, well, it is too tall. It's taking up too much vertical space. It tried to fix it. Still, I was not happy with it. I wanted to be even shorter, but here I mistyped. And instead of tall, I said it's instead of height, I said width. So then I was surprised. Okay, why did you do not anything? It actually did, but yeah, not what I had in mind first because I mistyped. So then I asked, okay, actually, sorry, I meant height. Can you fix that? It asked me about some suggestions that it made, some clarifications. I said, yes, looks good to me. Now implement it. And at that point, it was working fine. So I asked it, hey, before I made a mistake, I was talking about width, which I didn't mean to. Can you remove it? And so it did. It asked me again some questions. I just asked, yeah, looks good to me. Use the default. And it was working fine. And then I actually had another conversation with Junie, and oh yeah, so at that point it was moving from left to right, and then it jumped back to the beginning and moving left to right. And I wanted to make it a bit more natural, look a bit better. So I told it, okay, can you just make it an infinite loop? And I suggested it how it could do it. Like what is my idea, which was that it should move away from the screen and then come back to the screen. It asked me oh yeah, here it asked me a couple questions like, okay, what do I actually want? It suggested three options for me: single sequence, so then it goes off screen, resets, and is on screen again. Double sequence, so there's always something on screen, and then something else that I would come up with. I told it, yeah, I want the A1, and it did its job. How Junie works, it tells you, okay, so this is my plan, and then step by step, it's working on all the steps. So let's see what's the final state, and it is like this. So now it's moving from left to right, and when it gets out, it appears on the left again. So yeah, this is what I wanted to do. Took me couple of minutes, And actually, one more thing I want to show is how Juni operates, which is whenever it makes any changes, it shows you this diff. So you can actually, as it works, see what kind of changes it made. Yes. Right. And then there's a summary. What has changed? If it implements some bigger feature, it also tells you, okay, this is how you can run it. This is how you can test it, etc., etc. All right. Are there any questions? No? All right. If you have questions later, come to us again. Otherwise, that's gonna be all from this second to last presentation. Then it's gonna be Tanya and Chendia, who's somewhere, talking just briefly about our campus ambassador program. But otherwise, that would be all from me. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for coming here today. And yeah, again, if you want to discuss anything, please come to us here and ask questions. We do like your questions. Yes, there's a question. What is our approach for? Okay. So, okay. Whether the code is shared and how we approach this. Yeah. Okay. So I believe, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you can opt in and opt out from, first of all, sharing analytics and data on which we can then improve the AI. You can also turn off completely the AIs that are in the IDE by default, and use only local models. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, that's the whole answer I can give you right now. Not sure if that's a satisfying answer for you, but it's I can like ask colleagues more details about whether we have some specific rules for this and how do they sound exactly. But in general, yeah, sharing data for improving of the AI should be optional. Okay. Thank you for the question. Any more questions? Yes. With Claude Code. I see. Okay. So by default, Juni. Actually, let's go to settings. Let's go Juni. By default, Juni can use. Yeah. By default, Juni can use GPT-5 or Claude. So that is something that we use in the background. So probably comparison would be to some other agents, not an LLM on itself. I don't have any comparison like statistic and any numbers right now on me. Probably we could look them up in some benchmark. Yeah, sorry. So I don't have any data to support my or support to tell you, okay, we do like 20% better than this other agent or that one. Probably we'd have to take a look at some open benchmark. I think it's called open benchmark, right? Online and see how that performs. Sorry. Yeah. So, you mean this one? Yeah. Oh, you meant this one, not the model, but this agent from Process. Okay. Okay. Well, sorry. Okay. Yeah, but then I'm gonna give you a similar answer. I don't have any data to like tell you how many percent of the bench of some exact benchmark how it performed. I can ask my colleague if they can on Sunday. I'm not sure if they can send it to me quickly, and we can discuss that maybe after the lecture. Because I'm sure there are some. Unfortunately, I don't have them on me. Any other questions? Okay. If not, if you come up with questions later again, please come to us. Otherwise, that's gonna be everything. So once again, thank you, and I'm gonna give the floor to Tinja and thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm Tanya. I can try my Chinese. 我的名字是 Tanya. Yes, and at JetBrains, I lead the team which is called University Relations. So we try to build strong connections with students, with teachers, universities, in order to help you on your educational journey, to better understand your needs, and to bring as much value and relevant support as possible. I want just to very briefly introduce you to what we do and how actually you can be part of it. I have slides in Chinese, so I need to check what's in them. Yeah. So first of all, so what opportunities do we bring to you? What we offer to students? So first of all, we provide free access to all our IDEs and educational resources for free. So you can use IntelliJ, PyCharm, CLine, and all other tools, as well as different plugins, completely for free. And I hope you know about that. We also help integrate our technologies into university courses and labs. So we are in charge of installation of classroom licenses here in China, for example. Also, we help universities develop their curriculums by introducing and conducting new courses. And we also support student clubs and initiatives by sponsoring and helping you organize different events. These can be hackathons, student conferences, competitions, etc. Right now, we collaborate with over 40 leading universities in Europe. You can see this map. To name just a few of them, there's Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, there's ETH and EPFL in Switzerland, there's TUM, TU Delft, Charles University, Warsaw University, and many, many more. So what exactly do we do there? Over past couple of years in these places, we managed to deliver dozens of technical lectures and workshops. We participated in hundreds of student events. Some of them were organized by us, actually, and they were not just educational ones. We also organized some fun activities. For example, one of the largest events was a pub quiz with more than 500 participants. We have introduced our own programming language courses. It's Kotlin, Rust, and Scala in a few universities. We support the ICPC community as a global tool sponsor, and we usually attend all the regional finals as well as the world finals. And we have organized 6 international competitive programming camps that brought together some of the best ICPC teams in the world. What it all looked like, you can see in these pictures. So I hope you can feel that energy that we bring to students and universities. It's a lot of fun activity. How do we actually make all this happen? So we are a pretty big team. Globally, we have about 40 people, including different project and event coordinators, developer advocates. For example, Vault is one of them. We have regional managers, and most importantly, we have campus ambassadors. So campus ambassadors are the driving force behind all these activities and connections. And they are students, just like you. And it is them who help us organize events, gather feedback, and build local communities around our tools and technologies. If this sounds exciting to you and you would like to become part of our team, I think it's a great opportunity to get involved. China is new for us. It's a new direction. It's an exciting direction, and in many ways for us, it's a whole new world. And we want to build a Chinese team of campus ambassadors as part of our global network, taking what we learned in Europe, adapting this to local needs, and hopefully be useful and appreciated here, just like we are in Europe. And I think here I will hand it over to Chanjia. Chanjia is the team lead for all our activities in China.
Thank you. And I will exactly introduce our education program in China. And now I speak in Chinese. OK， 我们终于可以讲中文了。如果大家有什么问题，可以继续的交流。对，我大概介绍一下背景，就是JetBrains 其实关于校园呢，我们一直对高校的学生既很友好，也有提供更多的有效的帮助。所以呢，在欧洲其实校园大使这个项目还是比较成熟，而且时间呢也很久，发展大概也有10多年的这样的一个历史。在中国呢，校园大使其实我们一直没有做有各种各样的原因。在2021年JetBrains 在中国建立了分公司。所以呢，我们也慢慢的开始想把我们的校园大使的计划呢，拓展到中国来，希望能够给更多的学生呢提供更多的有效的帮助。我为什么说有效的帮助呢？是有几个原因。第一个原因呢是我们特别的荣幸，就是有很多的学生选择我们的工具，但事实上我们的工具呢，其实有一些也会给学生带来一些挑战比如说对有大一的新生，我们在 set up 或者说刚开始上手的时候，经常会遇到一些挑战。那么这些挑战呢，其实我们并没有提供到一些 适合大家能够更容易上手的一些这个支持。因为它其实 JetBrains 是一个企业的专业工具，它不是一个教具，所以在这方面呢，其实有所欠缺的，所以我们也就很难去在这方面给同学们带来更多的。第二呢是其实我们也没有很多关于中文方面的一些支持内容，大部分都是在，而且还大部分都在油管上，都是英文的，所以可能对清华的学生来讲，它可能不是一个困难，因为语言大家也都很优秀。但对于更多的其他的学生来讲，不管是获取这些资源，还是说了解、掌握这些资源，可能也不太容易。第三个就是使用的习惯，或者使用的一些渠道上，据我了解，国内老师其实不太会讲这些东西，他只会讲一些语言的算法、语法，所以呢，可能很多学生在获取说知道我们用 JetBrains IDE， 有些时候可能到大三才会用。从我们的数据看，比如清华每年大概有4000多个学生会申请续订，大概4000到5000，但是大部分是大三，研究生和博士比较多，就大一、大二很少。我想可能有几个原因，一个呢是不知道，第二呢是就老师可能有些老师会提，有些老师不提。第二呢，可能申请起来有些时候年度续订也不是那么的方便，可能没有开源的用起来更加的顺畅。所以呢，第三可能大一、大二用起来上手时候会有一些困难。我们去年在 ICTC 的 EC Final 上，我们也做过一个调研，就打比赛的同学们反馈，33%的同学说我们的工具上手其实还是有点挑战的，而且这个挑战呢是需要被别人协助的，不是说这个挑战我自己就可以很快的克服，而且他们是希望获得一些协助的。所以我们觉得可能不仅在欧洲需要这个Ambassador 这个项目，可能在中国也需要。那刚才我在那个 title 上面写了一个校园大使是学生专家，因为这里面有一个非常重要的因素，就是可能从工具本身上我们表现的还是不错，但是呢，从学生视角上我们并没有找到一个合适的方式能够给同学们提供的有效帮助，所以我们需要的这个人呢，可能期望的也是这个角色呢，也是能够扮演一个学生专家的角色，能够给学生们能够提供更多便利的、有效的这个顺畅的一个信息和新的一些技术的一个发展，能够支持到我们学校同学的一个使用。所以大概罗列了就是有3个这样的一个这个角色的一个定位吧。第一个就是关于它是以教育，因为 JetBrains 给高校开放的所有的工具是免费的，所以也不存在说我们希望去因为是免费的，所以就不存在其他的一些诉求，只是希望大家能够比较容易的去掌握，在工作中在学习中，在科研中能够很好的让我们的工具给大家提供帮助。第二呢，就是社区建设，有些时候可能使用工具，工具本身没有场景，可能每个同学都有自己的学习的领域和专业，那么可能大家互相的讨论，可能更加利于我们工具发挥一些作用。所以我们也希望呢，在校园里能够有一些形成一个社区的文化，能够帮助到我们在不同领域的一些学习探讨中发挥这样的作用。我们在企业端其实这种社区比较多，包括我们也有一个 PUB 社区，在中国有30多个城市，大小可能有10几个是比较核心的城市，我们都会有一个 PUB 社区。那么定期也会和一些大厂企业去做一些这方面的活动。那么高校呢，其实我们也希望能够形成这样的一个文化和氛围。那么第三呢，就是欧洲现在有40多个高校，我们都会有这个校园大使。我们也希望我们国内的校园大使和欧洲的校园大使也能够形成一个互相连接、互相互动。因为尤其现在这个阶段，可能关于编程的事情，大家更希望能够不要有限制的交流，可能不仅是校内、跨校，可能更多的是我们能够有更多不同领域的不同国家的这样的一个跨界的交流。所以呢，我们也希望呢，这个校园大使能够扮演起这样的一个角色，能够提供更多的一些跨校或者说一些跨区域的这样的一些交流。那么这个角色呢，也是我们对他的一个期待吧。好，第2页呢，就是大概我们想说，如果我们理想的一个校园大使或者学生专家，大概有这么几个希望吧，这个期待。这个第一呢，就是 还是希望他是能够使用我们的 IDE 工具的。我们可能不一定需要说这位同学需要一个很深的技术，因为如果你确实对 JetBrains IDE 本身感兴趣，我们非常有信心，在你加入到我们的团队里面，你可以迅速的提升你的技术。因为我们公司的如果你加入到我们团队，可能你就有机会和我们公司几乎所有 IDE 开发的工程师有链接的机会。我们可以内部经常会组织一些活动，包括你也可以一对一的和他去沟通和了解如何去提升你自身的技术。所以我相信这是一个你本身的技术可能并不一定很重要，只是你对我们的 IDE 的喜爱可能会更加的重要一些。那么第二呢，就是你确实还是挺乐意去分享、去组织，就像我们和 TUNA 社团这样合作，能够给更多的同学提供一些比较合适的一些通过一些合适的方式，能够让更多的同学和老师能够了解我们的工具怎么去发挥在学习和课业中的作用。第三呢，就是更多的就是可能通过你们自己的这个生活或者学习的过程中，会有一些有趣的见解，可能不单单是一些很重的一些很技术的一些分享，我们也可以做一些更多轻松的比较愉悦的一些分享，也让大家能够调动 inspire 大家能够有更多的一些想法。比如说刚才关于 AI 的讨论，其实我们也在别的高校也有很多同学会问到这个问题。我觉得这些话题我们也可以去不断的去发散，去寻找这个彼此之间的优势和劣势。那么最后一个呢，就是我们也希望能够他很乐意的去和我们 JetBrains 的其他的ambassador 也好，或者其他的这个部门也好，我们经常会有一些定期的一些会议和交流，能够做一些更多的分享，从而寻找到一些比较合适的一些这个形式也好或者说内容也好，来去扩大我们这样的一个技术推广的一个影响力。好，你可以获得什么呢？我觉得可以获得很多据我了解，虽然我们在国内现在还没有，我们现在有正在招，正在可能开始是7月份这个项目其实启动7月份。其实我也非常感谢我的老板天呀，其实是因为我后来去提起这个提议，他从 Global 发起了这个项目，然后我们就开始推动这个事情。基本上我们也内部走了很长的流程，所以从7月份开始呢，我们陆续今年大概会招5到6名的 ambassador 去不同的学校，希望能够先建立起这样的一个小的团队，算是一个初创的一个团队，然后大家一起来去打磨，看怎么去能够去共同学习我们 IDE 的一个工具，包括 Kotlin 也是一样的。第二呢是能够你可以获得 JetBrains 工程师的指导和分享。我相信这一点可能这个文化其实是一个比较 bottom up， 就是我们如果你想做的事情，公司是非常愿意支持，而且这种支持是我觉得几乎没有什么太多的限制。如果你愿意做，而且你的发起，如果别人对你的你发起这个项目感兴趣的话，可能你也会吸引到更多的人一起参与，所以包括我们的开发团队的，所以这个收获我相信也是可能在学校和同学们之间的又是不太一样的这样的一个获得。那么第三呢，就是 JetBrains 其实作为一个工具，其实它在各个场景、各个行业，不同的类型的公司，金融也好，包括中国的这个智能车也好，互联网也好，其实它在各个行业我们都会参与到不同的技术的一些论坛呀、会议啊、研讨和交流。那么我们校园大使作为 JetBrains 的员工之一，也是有这样的机会去可以一起和我们参与共创这样的一个活动。今年的云溪呢，我们云溪大会就是9月份，我们也邀请了一些同学和我们一起参与了这个云溪大会的一些我们的一些技术交流和活动。我感觉其实有很多同学对他还是非常感兴趣，我也觉得这种方式可能也会对同学们本身的学习成长也是一个很大的一个帮助。最后一个呢，就是我们确实都有更多的机会去使用到我们的，不单单是这个全家桶IDE，包括我们的团队工具，包括我们的这个 AI 的一些资源，包括一些其他的一些资源，你都可以获得。那么我这儿可能稍微补充一下，就是我们的 Ambassador 的校园大使这个项目呢，我们 每周就是如果做校园大使，可能每周不超过8小时就是你如果做了我们校园大使的话，可能每周你只需要投入8小时在这个岗位上，就不超过8小时。如果比如说你们在考试中或者相对比较忙的时候，你少于8小时，比如说4小时，但是我们的要求是不允许超过8小时，所以这个是稍微跟大家强调一下，因为大家其实在学习中也比较忙，相信可能尤其是这个大家如果有项目或者说考试的时候，几乎是没有时间去做别的事情，所以我们在时间上和欧洲是一样的，就是你每周不要超过8小时。这个是我们关于 ambassador 的其中一个关于时间上的一个要求。好，最后一个呢是如果你们感兴趣，可以写邮件到这个 education 的这个com 的这个邮箱里面，11月底之前发简历，因为12月份圣诞节，可能很多同事就没有办法去面试了，因为我们的面试可能需要国内和欧洲的同事一起来去面试。所以呢，你们如果有感兴趣的同学，可以把你们的中英文简历发到这个邮箱里面。如果你当然也欢迎同学们分享给你身边的人感兴趣的同学，他们可以尽早的来去这个发简历，这样的话我们可能会在圣诞节之前也可以安排这个面试，来去看是否有机会一起来去共创，在中华可以做到一些更多的一些有价值的。像今天这样可以能够给大家分享更多的一些技术和知识的这个交流和会议。好，我大概分享就这么多，然后看一下大家有没有什么问题。如果没有问题的话，或者说一会儿大家有问题也可以私下来跟我联系。那我这边就结束了，谢谢。最后我们因为尤其我们同事这个确实是从欧洲飞过来，然后如果大家可以的话，我们可以一起在前面合个影，大家看。应该找个背景，就这个背景。都可以。都这样。好，感谢。
好，回应我们的发到。
大家对我们的公司还有兴趣。